technique is ill, son. Watch how I spill one. Peace to Biggie, Tupac, Big L and Big Pun. Havoc on the streets of static. Snitches, house niggas, children watchers, they produce the same pattern. Somebody raped our women, murdered our babies, hit us with the cracks and guns in the early 80s. For those that murdered me shall stand before God, to fall at the hands of fate, then out comes the rod. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back.
What's up? We're gonna talk about insomnia. I'm sure y'all already figured that out. Question submitted by my brother DT. 3 something. I don't know, DT something, I don't know. DTZ is what I call you, brother. So appreciate the question. So I love these comments and responses and the moderator and the inbox. All that's great, because I'm pretty sure I would have never talked about this if he had not submitted this question. So shout out to you for that, brother, because this is something that, as I did my research, I realized how common this was. Since I ain't never had this problem, I ain't never really thought about it. But statistically, they say 1 out of 10 people suffer from this. About 40 million Americans. So I'm sure you're not alone. So let's get into it. Might be able to help some more people. So what we're talking about, as we already said, insomnia. And I wrote it like that on purpose because it's 2 words, in and somnus. This means not sleeping. In, one of the meanings would be in is not, like against, or so you're not sleeping. Can't sleep. It's also includes sleep apnea, which is where you wake up in the middle of the night because you stop breathing in your sleep for up to 2 minutes, which is pretty dangerous. Sounds pretty crazy to me, but it's very common also. I think Shaq just got treated for sleep apnea. So y'all share this with Shaq. Somebody, y'all know what I'm saying? Let's get into it. We're going to talk about some nutrients, some herbs, and some foods that you can be taking or using to help deal with this, because whether you know it or not, just like pretty much any other problem that we have, it can be easily fixed by a simple shift in our diet. A simple change, either adding something or taking something out. Either you need to be eating more of something or you need to be avoiding something else. And that's usually what it all boils down to, and this is no different. The more I read about it, the more I've realized it's just like everything else. You just lack something. There's no disease. Remember that. There's only deficiency. Okay? You either lacking some vitamin, you're only lacking some vitamin, mineral, or nutrient. You have to forgive me. I'm watching the rain. I got plants outside that I'm trying to watch. I don't want them to get caught in the rain. Okay. Nutrients. We're not going to discuss all of them. I'm spelling this right? Yeah. I hate English. I'm not going to discuss all of them. I'm just going to give you the most important ones. There are more that you can take that will be helpful, but get your guide to nutritional healing, or do some research if you think you need extra things if these don't work. The 2 most important are calcium and magnesium. Now, also a very important hormone, you could say, melatonin, I thought was very interesting. So you know this is excreted during the nighttime hours or during the dark hours when you sleep. Serotonin during the day, melatonin at night. So if you're not sleeping, you're probably not getting the amount of secreting the right amount of melatonin that you would need, which is helps repair and heal the body. You need, and I should have did this differently, but 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams of magnesium. It's supposed to be 2,000. I mean, of calcium. 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams of calcium and 1,000 milligrams of magnesium. These are things you take before you go to bed. They have a calming effect. These help relax the body, relax the muscles. Muscle relaxers are very important. We're going to get into some more herbs that are good for that. And melatonin, got different things. Say 5 milligrams of melatonin an hour before bedtime. Yeah, that would be a maximum dosage. But you would start with 1.5 milligrams. From 1.5 to 5 milligrams, depending on how you feel the next day, if it works or not. 5 milligrams could make you a little drowsy or groggy the next day, so you would take a little less. Okay? Now let's get into some herbs. We're going to just do a few of these too. Not going to go over all of them. Go through the things that I think might be the most accessible to you. A combination of California poppy, passion flower, and valerian. Combo. Okay. Catnip and chamomile. That's an E, yes. Kava kava. I think I'm gonna leave it with that, with those. That's a V. Yeah. A few others, but this would be a good start. California poppy, passion flower, valerian. You can make a tea, or you can find them in capsule form. And you take those together as directed by the package. Catnip and chamomile can be made into a tea also. Not necessarily together, but you can use them together. You can also combine California poppy and chamomile too. You can make a combo with that. So, yeah. California poppy and chamomile, or this combo. Catnip, chamomile. Chamomile tea is very good muscle relaxer. It would say have mild sedative properties, but it's really just about calming your nerves, which is very important. So we're gonna get into some physical aspects of this also. We ain't gonna just stay in the book. So let's move on to some foods that we should be consuming to help us in this area also. These are the foods you should have. I think dates was one, or was it figs? Probably both. bananas. I don't know if I'm spelling that right or not. Nut butters. And whole grains. They say whole grain crackers, but I wouldn't recommend eating no crackers before you go to bed. Okay? These are foods that are high in, these are the pros, these are the good. These foods are high in tryptophan. Which is an amino acid. There's a brother online, I can't remember his name right now, who has some good lectures going into tryptophan if you want to know more about that. And I can't remember that, but I'll probably put the link on the video. I'll post it on there somewhere if y'all find it. If I want to go check that out and get more information on that. The tryptophan is good for relaxing the muscles, relaxing the nervous system, calming the body. That's what we want. Go to sleep. Oh, grapefruit also. I'll put that one. Okay? Foods you should avoid before you go to sleep. And I'm going to just start with the ones that you might think are okay. There are some on this list that I don't even think I should be naming, because if you're eating this shit before you go to bed, then you don't need to go to sleep. You need to be up thinking about what the fuck is wrong with you and why you think that's an appropriate meal before bedtime. I'm not gonna write this shit, but I say it. If you dumb enough to be eating bacon, cheese, chocolate, ham, potatoes, sauerkraut, sausage before you go to bed, I hope you have a nightmare. And I hope you can't sleep. Now, avoid taking nasal decongestants and other cold remedies. Although you might think, or they might have ingredients that help you fall asleep, put you to sleep, just because they knock you out, they're going to disrupt the sleep cycle later on. So as you start to get into your sleep, before you can get into your REM state, then those things are going to start disrupting it. That's what is happening. And it also said they can have opposite, they said it's known to cause drowsiness, but they can have the opposite effect on some people and act as a stimulant. So I don't know who those some people are, but it could very well be melanites. So y'all need to be aware of that. Okay, now let's get into to the other side of this. I'm not gonna go into too much out of the book. Establish a set of habits and follow them consistently to establish a healthy sleep cycle. Like going to bed only when you're sleepy. This is what I wanted to talk about. That we are not all day walkers. Some of us are nocturnal. You could just very well be a nocturnal being and you don't sleep when everybody else do. So this is a problem with slavery. This is one of the problems. You might not be at liberty to decide when you're going to go to bed and when you're going to be up. Because you got to go to work in the morning. So these are things we're going to have to think of as we're thinking about being free. So, and also, everybody don't require 8 hours of sleep. So we don't need to be on these rigid, programmed responses to things. 8 hours of sleep at night and all this, you know, you might not be that way. So we got to know what's good for you. So you should go to bed when you're sleepy, and don't stay in bed if you're not sleepy. Get up and do something. Now, they would tell you to go watch TV or do something, but what I would recommend is use that time for meditation. Put on something, some soothing music, some meditative music, or a lecture, or record the sound of your own voice. Make a mantra using the sound of your own voice and play that if you can't sleep, or while you're trying to go to sleep. Because what we really want to be able to do is be able to take control of that. You don't want to just fall asleep and then end up in some random dream, some situation that you don't understand why it's happening, what does this mean. What we want to be able to do is control our dreams. And if you can't get into that rapid eye movement state, that REM state, then you also can't access your genetic memory or those Akashic records. That's why the deep sleep is so important. But once you get into deep sleep, you also want to be able to learn how to control that environment. This is the real you. That's why this is so important, because when you sleep is when you're really awake. It's when you are really awake. And we didn't get into the 3 U's yet, but one of those is the true you. The you who you were before you got this name, age, and social security number. And the you who you gonna be when all that shit, when you leave this planet. Okay? So that's just something that ain't in the book. I just wanted to be like, you know, we gotta be aware of all of that. So don't sleep when you're sleepy. That's right. You could very well, you know, be somebody who should be sleeping during different hours of the day. Just simple, you know. Not nap during the day. We already established that. If you're not sleeping at night, you should know you don't need to be napping. Get some exercise during the day, or early in the evening. Not right before bed, but you know, during sometime early in the evening, so you can wear yourself out a little bit. Tire yourself out. Play with your kids. Some of us don't even do that. That's a good exercise. But then taking a bath. They went to talk about that. Get back into my shit. Some of y'all think that's some homo shit, but that's aromatherapy. You can take a chamomile bath, take some essential oils, teas, herbal teas, and put them in your bath. Sit in there, relax yourself, relax your muscles, calm your nerves, and chill. And I done fell asleep in the bathtub plenty of times. So I know the calming effects it can have. What's something else I was supposed to mention? Oh, don't use chamomile if you're allergic to ragweed. Just throw that in there. It's a caution. And don't overuse melatonin. According to some recent reports, more than occasional use of melatonin can prematurely stop the body's own production of this vital hormone. So it's supplements. And I know some brothers, I've heard some brothers saying that they take melatonin. Well, I don't know how long you've been taking it or how long you plan to take it, but you produce melatonin on your own. So when I heard that, I didn't quite understand that. But I couldn't understand it if you're having a problem sleeping. But other than that, that's it. You just gotta learn to listen to your body. I like this part. I'll say this just so you know. You're wondering if you get enough sleep. It said regardless of how many hours of sleep you get each night, if you wake up easily in the morning, and especially if you rarely or ever need the services of your alarm clock, and if you can make it through the entire day without seeming to run out of steam or feeling drowsy after sitting quietly or reading for a while, you are probably getting enough sleep. So that's a good way to test yourself. Also, the hormonal shifts that occur during premenstrual syndrome and menopause may trigger insomnia. So, estrogen affects the production and balance of the brain chemicals responsible for wakefulness. So, sisters, you keep that in mind. Remember, we talked about supplements and replenishing during those times. I think that's about all that I was going to mention. Oh, these foods over here, I talked about tryptophan. These foods contain tyramine. This is why you don't want those. You have to look them up yourself. You all want additional information on those. But tyramine increases the release of norepinephrine. Norepinephrine, which is a brain stimulant. And I'll write that down if y'all want to look that up. I've never heard of that one before. I think I remember how to spell it. Yeah. Norepinephrine. Norepinephrine. That might be right. Got me on that one. But you don't want that before you go to bed. Okay? Oh, I forgot, yeah. Avoid tobacco and alcohol, nicotine and caffeine. I don't even know why anybody would be drinking coffee before bed, but you don't want that. Okay? And alcohol, which might make you think you're going to go to sleep, might think you're giving you that sleepy feeling, put you out because you can pass out drunk. But it will interfere with your sleep cycles later, just like the alcohol, probably with same problem with the cold remedies. Okay. And nicotine is a neurostimulant. Neuro, just talking about nerves. Like I said, this is what we're talking about, calming your nerves and relaxing. So nicotine is going to stimulate your nerves and keep you up. Loud ass neighbors. So yeah, don't forget baths, aromatherapy, therapy. Therapy. Meditation. All the same. Can't sleep. Put on a Om chant. Meditate on that. Feng Shui. Maybe you need to change rearrange the furniture in your bedroom to create a better flow of energy. Unplug all the electronic equipment, all the electrical devices in your room or anywhere where you sleep, and unplug all that because they interfere with magnetic currents and the flow of electricity. You are an electric being with a magnetic field of your own. So you don't want anything interfering with that. Turn off the TV before you go to sleep. Don't be dreaming about what's going on in TV. You can't control your dreams that way. Okay? So that's why I say make it something with your own voice. If you're going to be listening to something, or make sure it's something positive. Some people learn other languages in their sleep. Maybe you should do that. But don't just fall asleep. Go to sleep. Go somewhere. Start to travel. We have to be able to get into that REM state before we can start doing that. And we might do some lectures on that. I got some exercises I gave some other people on how you can learn to control your dreams. So, that's it, fam. Take care of yourselves. And also, weight can be an issue. So I say a lot of things. The diet is usually at the core and the root of whatever your problem is. So I know a lot of people who are overweight, who suffer from snoring, and probably which leads to sleep apnea. So be aware of that. These things can be taken care of just by shedding some excess pounds, clogging up passageways. That's what's the problem. Really the problem. You got things blocked with mucus and fat, which is really mucus. So there you go, family. I hope that helps, brother. That's to be a good start, you know what I'm saying? Get you on track. If you need more information, hit me up. But like I say, try to get you a copy of that book right there. That's it's an invaluable resource. I hope this helps. Get some rest. Be healthy. Peace.
What the fuck is going on? I can't go to sleep. Feds jumping out their jeeps, I can't go to sleep. Babies with flowers on their cheeks, it's hard to go to sleep. Inspo, 2 6s twice, I couldn't go to sleep. Hey yo, we deep in the stands, we carry can guns. Whippy got hit her with the big shit.